2006. Dumbarton, UK. Donna Cooper is taking a stroll with her border collie Ben on the town's historic Overton Bridge. When suddenly the dog stops, looks at a space in the stonework, and leaps to his death.
I had just turned round to say to my husband, could you put the dog on the lead? And as I said, the dog had literally, his forepaws just left the ground and he was straight over the turret and there was nothing I could have done to stop him.
That's a 4-story drop. In fact, dogs have been jumping from this bridge for over 50 years. Local journalist Willie Cochran goes to work looking for answers.
Various people phoned after the first article to say that it happened to their dog as well. Some of the dogs had jumped off and lived. Some of them had jumped off and died. There was even one that had jumped off, lived. The owner went back a couple of years later, and unfortunately jumped off again and died.
What can be causing this canine carnage? One theory, evil spirits. Can unknown forces be pulling pooches off the bridge? The area, which has been inhabited for at least 1,400 years, has a dark past. Suicide is higher in Scotland than any other part of the UK. Were the dogs feeling their pain?
When it was first put to me, were dogs committing suicide from this bridge, I actually laughed out loud. That's where we're humanising the behaviour, we're becoming anthropomorphic.
Still, animal behaviourist Dr. David Sands decides to see what else besides goblins or a death wish could be causing dogs to jump to their deaths.
This was a story that had a lot of human emotion. I wanted to get back to the science, and I knew there would be some logic for the explanation.
And the logical thing to do is find out what kind of earthly reason a dog would have to jump off a bridge. If the dogs weren't chasing ghosts, then what?
In this kind of habitat, we'd expect to find a wide range of mammals, ranging in body size from things like mink, we would find otters, roe deer. Foxes would be another mammal which would be quite common in an area like this.
But it was the mink that interested animal behaviorists the most, and for very good reason.
I knew that minks had very powerful anal sacs for marking, and if that kind of scent was there, a working dog would see that as a giant lollipop, you know, something to follow.
So Dr. Sands collected the odors of 3 different animals and unleashed 10 dogs.
We found out that the bulk of the dogs headed almost directly towards the minks, and if that kind of scent was around the bridge, it could have an important influence on the dog's behaviour for wanting to explore over the bridge and go beyond the normal path.
It all started to make sense. Newspapers report that so-called dog suicides were first noticed in the 1920s, right around the time the mink were introduced to this town. Now, consider the bridge.
One of the first things that I did when I came to the bridge was get myself down onto the dog's levels. What I found was the world was blocked out by the stone.
So now we're onto something. Maybe the dogs smell the mink, but can't see where it is. They have no concept of how high up they are. And they react instinctively to the scent and go over before they realize what hit them. But just in case there are evil spirits in the middle of the bridge, there's an easy fix. Stay away from the sides and keep your dog on a leash.